Dr. Nitin, you may start now.
Namaste, good evening, and welcome to the another session of a Young Science Leader Series program. I am Dr. Nitin Trivedi, hosting this session with Ms. Yesha Bharucha, a student from Navsari Agricultural University, along with Dr. Felix Bast. And our today's speaker is Dr. Rupesh Srivastava. He is working as an assistant professor at Department of Biotechnology, AIIMS, New Delhi since 2017. Prior to that, he was an assistant professor at School of Biological Science, Central University of Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. He did his postdoc from Columbia University Medical Center, New York, and Roswell Park Cancer Institute, Buffalo, New York, USA. He holds his PhD in immunology from National Center for Cell Science, NCCS, Pune, India, from 2006 to 2011. He did his MSc in zoology, mainly in cell biology from Gorakhpur University. He was also a university gold medal winner in MSc with 6 medals to his credit. He was a recipient of several prestigious awards like GP Talwar's Young Scientist Award twice in Indian Immunology Society 2011 and Indian Society for the Study of Reproduction and Fertility in 2019. Science Communicator Award in 2017, DBT Overseas Fellowship in 2010, DBT and DST International Travel Grant in 2016, 17, and many more awards. His research interest includes osteoimmunology, immunoporosis, bone biology, reproductive osteoimmunology, and he has contributed more than 30 articles in high-impact immunological journals like Journal of Immunology, Frontiers in Immunology, Scientific Reports, Environmental Pollution, Bone Reports, Nutrition, etc. So I welcome you, Dr. Rupesh, on behalf of Young Science Leader family, and we are privileged that we get an opportunity to listen your inspiring story. So with this, I hand over this session to Ms. Yesha Bharucha to welcome our today's speaker. Over to you, Yesha.
Yes. Well, very good afternoon to all the respected dignitaries and my dear colleagues. I'm Yesha Bharucha, pursuing BTech in Biotechnology from Navsari Agricultural University, Gujarat. Apart from this, I'm a poet and an orator. So today I would like to welcome you all as well as Dr. Rupesh Srivastava, sir. Thank you, sir, for showering us with your esteemed presence. So, all the viewers, kindly buckle up your seats as we are going to have a look at the journey of Dr. Rupesh Srivastava, sir, from AIIMS, New Delhi. Thank you. So, now I'm handing over to sir to proceed further.
So, thanks, Yesha. And first of all, I am very thankful to the organizers of this event, especially Dr. Felix and Dr. Nitin. So today I will be talking about my journey in academia. So I'm just sharing the screen of mine. Okay. So basically, this journey, this is the first time I'm going to talk about this kind of journey apart from the routine research presentations which we are used to present. And so today I will be talking about how basically my journey has been in academia and research, and what are the lessons which I have learned, and basically which I will try to share with you all. Maybe that can strike a chord with your own life itself. Maybe you can take something from this, and that's why I'm trying here to be as short and crisp as possible. So first of all, the most important thing is, basically I'm at AIIMS New Delhi, and my group is Osteomynology group. So this is a quite catchy term which I think most of you are not aware of. So I would be first talking about what is osteomynology. So osteomynology, this is what I have been working on from the last 15 to 20 years right now. So osteomynology is something, this is a kind of marriage between you can say your bone biology and immunology. So earlier, bone system is already considered to be very innate kind of thing, very inert kind of thing, not involving many things. A lot of people, they think that bone is a very hard tissue. it's a dead tissue. It's not like that. Bone is a very active tissue. And if you take that, my words, so every year approximately 10% of your bone is being replaced by new bones. And that process is called as bone remodeling. And immunology from the last 15 to 20 years has came up with a very important role in this bone remodeling process. If you see here, basically there are two kinds of cells. One is the osteoclasts, basically which are responsible for resorbing the bone, eating up the bone, and providing the space for so that the new bone can be formed by the other kind of cells called as osteoblasts. So this maintained balance in a normal homeostatic condition leads to whatever the bone is being lost is also being formed new. But what happens during any inflammatory condition is that in the present of various kind of APCs or DCs, macrophages are there. In any inflammatory condition, they secrete a lot of cytokines. It can be either inflammatory or anti-inflammatory, and depending upon the cytokine milieu, these naive T cells can get activated. And these can become activated to either form T helper site, Th1, Th2, Treg cells, or the Th17, the recently recognized Th17, Th9, or other cells. So basically all the cells towards this side, the red one, are basically not good for the bones. So these cells, once are differentiated, will lead to your bone loss. And these cells, the Th1, Th2, Tregs, are basically bone protecting, and these protect your bones through the secretion of various anti-osteoclastogenic cytokines. So this is just an introduction about what osteomynology is. So now I come what we are doing at our group at AIIMS. So we are doing a lot of basic osteomynology, and we also are doing very much active, and we have coined a new term for the immunology of osteoporosis itself, which we call as immunoporosis. We are into gut microbiome and bone health, how gut microbiome, the microbiota composition of the gut is actually regulating bone health, how diet is affecting your bone health, how environment is affecting your bone health, and also bone is a very active organ. If you see this diagram, you can see here the bone is also involved with the fertility also, which we call as osteofertility. So bone is involved with fertility, immune system. So we are working how bone is also affected by various dietary supplements, various environmental pollutants, and what can be done to stop this bone loss with the help of various novel therapeutics, including a gut microbiome. So this is all about my group at AIIMS New Delhi. And so now I will start telling something which is not related to science directly, but it's part of the journey. So so the first and foremost thing which I really think is very important for becoming a good academician or a scientist is that we have to be a human first and then a scientist. Why I say so is that because just showing that you are perfect is not the only thing. You have to be very much basically compassionate about your students, your colleagues, and your staff. And this is more important than that you're even perfect or showing that you're perfect. And we have to be a pillar of strength who brings peace of mind to all of us around. And we have to be a person of magnanimous character who inspires hope. I'm not the person, maybe I am not the person which I'm talking about, but this is the thing which I really like. And this is what I try to inculcate in my own life with my own colleagues, students, and staff at the places which I have already served and places which I'm right now serving. So this is the foremost characteristics which I really think is very important for becoming a good scientist. So this is the educational, and I will just talk about my educational journey all around. If you see here, this is a road which appears to be a very straight road. And if you see here how I started my journey for this educational and professional training, I did my graduation from Gorakhpur University. And after that, I did my MSc, the post-graduation in zoology with specialization in cell biology. That's too from the Gorakhpur University itself, because I belong to Gorakhpur, I from proper city itself, and a very medium class family. My father was an engineer and my mother was a housewife. So I did all my basic schooling education was there until post-graduation. It was at Gorakhpur University itself. And in MSc, I had some gold medals also. Then thereafter, I did my PhD from National Center for Cell Science in Pune under the guidance of Dr. Vani and Dr. G.C. Mishra. He's a Padma Shri. Thereafter, after completing my PhD, I went for a postdoc at Columbia University in New York City. And after a year or so, I changed my lab and then again did a second postdoc at Roswell Park Cancer Institute That was two in Buffalo, New York. And after that, in 2013, after spending almost 2 years during my postdoc, one year at each at Columbia and Roswell, I then joined as a faculty in Central University of MP, Sagar Central University in MP. And there I served for approximately 4.5 years. And after that, I joined AIIMS New Delhi in 2017. So this is the educational and professional training which I have underwent through. And this appears quite straight, very, very basic. You can say think MSc, BSc, PhD, postdoc, and faculty. So this is what everybody aspires to be if you are doing a BSc or Masters, and if you want to be in academia or research. So this is the track. Instead of faculty, you can, if you want only research, you can go instead after postdoc, you can go for scientist positions where you are not required to teach. You're only, the prime responsibility is only research. But in case of being a faculty, there are dual advantages, or you can say pros and cons are different. So for me, I was very much interested in teaching. So teaching is my basically, I'm very passionate about teaching. So that's why I joined, always wished to join a university or an institute which has both teaching and research. That's why I joined Saga Central University and thereafter AIIMS, because AIIMS also, my profile is basically we are having master's program in biotechnology and a PhD program also, to both teaching and research. Here also I'm continuing the same job as my previous job, but things are different. So this is very straight. So, but there again comes a contradictory syndrome, which what you plan and what reality is. So the plan is very straight. You start and you run and you reach your destination. But in reality, is not always the case. Maybe it could be for some people who are very lucky, but I don't think for them also it's going to be that much straight. So in the reality, there could be a lot of things coming on your way towards achieving your goal. It could be a fire. It could be even sharks can also be there in some form. There could be thunderstorm. There could be a number of things. But then also you have to reach your destination. You cannot come back. You cannot switch back. So this is how we have to do that. So basically, the only mantra for doing that is that step by step you have to inch by inch, step by step, scaling new heights. So climbing the mountain of victory step by step is the mantra here. So you have to be very persistent. You have to be very persistent and consistent in your efforts in trying, so that step by step you can increase your qualities so that you can be employable. So this is the actual path which I have taken. It was not the straight one which I has already talked about in my previous slides. So this is the one. So first, after doing my MSc, I did my MSc and I qualified NET exams before completing my MSc. But I was not having GRF position as GRF lecturership. Only the lecturership was there. I was not having a GRF of either a CSIR or ICMR or DBT. So, but I was very much keen in doing research from really a very good institute where I could maximize my potential of becoming a good researcher. So I just waited for that. So after doing a MSc, a lot of people in the university itself, they offered me PhD-ship, but I was not interested in that because the infrastructure in state universities is normally not that good. Plus, also I was interested in pursuing my research in immunology, and immunology is not everywhere. It's only in a handful of institutes in India. So I just thought I will wait for some time, clear my GRF, and then only I can go for this PhD thing. And meanwhile, I just also don't want it to just sit down and doing nothing. So I joined as a lecturer in one of the private institutes there. I was teaching BTech biotechnology and MSc biotechnology there. For almost 6 months, I was there preparing myself for the GRF exams. And then thereafter, I got a position at SGPGI Lucknow as a project GRF. So I joined there, and I still was preparing for my exams, and I was doing my research also. That was a quite good experience for me for coming up in the medical setup, doing a lot of stuffs on the human samples and human subjects. So there also I was almost for approximately 6 months. And then again, I got a permanent position as a lecturer in a very good college of my city itself, Gorakhpur, from where I had done my BSc itself. So they called me up, I was selected, that was a permanent position. So I have to join, although I wanted to do research, but since it was a permanent position, so my family and my friends, they insisted that you should join this first because this is a job. So I left PGI and then I went on to join as a lecturer in that college. That's the best science college in my city. and it was a very good experience there. There again, the moment I joined there, within I think a month or so, the GRF exams, I cleared that exams, and I was having I think I was in the top SPM also. I was called for SPM also. So after joining that college, I cleared my GRF. I was called for interview from various places. Then in December, since I cleared the December one, I was offered a written interview at CCMB Hyderabad. So I went on to CCMB Hyderabad for giving my written exams and interview. I cleared that up. But at that itself, when I cleared that exams and I called up to some of my teachers back in my city that I cleared up the exam. One of my professors, he told me that why you should also go to NCCS. That's a place that's an institute in Pune. I was not aware of NCCS at that time. He told me that it's a very good place and immunology is quite robust there. So he told me that you should actually go there, and there are walk-in interviews are going on. So I just went there overnight. The journey was overnight from Hyderabad to Pune, and I traveled that night. And the next morning I was there. I requested them to consider me because I haven't applied for the PhD ship there, but they considered me on the ground that I will be the last candidate there after all the interviews are finished up. So since I was having a GRF position, so they just offered me a walk-in interview. So fortunately, I cleared that also. And then I was offered a PhD ship there under the guidance of both Dr. G.C. Mishra and Dr. Vani. So Dr. Vani was a bone biologist there, and Dr. G.C. Mishra is a Padma Shri. He's a well-known immunologist in India. He's a person who has published the first science paper from India. So he's an opening batsman for the Science magazine. And then after doing my PhD from 2006 till 2011 there, so it was very, very motivating journey for me doing PhD at NCC. It's one of the best institutes I can have dreamed of doing my PhD there. I've learned a lot. All of the immunology, more than 90% of immunology, what I know today is just because of this institute and my mentors there. After doing my PhD, everyone applies for postdoc. So I was also interested in doing a postdoc. But during my PhD, I had a very strong gut feeling that I should go for teaching instead of PhD, and in institute with the setup of a hybrid setup, so that I can do quality research also according to my own pace. Plus, I should be also able to teach. So when I was writing my PhD in 2010, there appeared the advertisement of Saga Central University. So they were calling for a rolling advertisement. So I just applied that, and I just forgot about that. So meanwhile, I got a postdoc position from 3 to 4 institutes, one from NIH, one from Columbia, then other also from UC Berkeley, and other institutes also. Then I joined Columbia University in New York. So after landing in Columbia, it was not that smooth that I was expecting. So everything was different. I started my family also there. I was already married to my wife. We had a kid of just 4 months old, which we took with us to New York, and we started living there for the first time there itself as a family. Otherwise, I was living in Pune. My wife and my son was living in Gorakhpur. So we started a family there for the first time. We were starting to live there. So a lot of personal and professional changes were there. Apart from this, being at India and then going to a very quality Columbia University, which is one of the Ivy Leagues universities, was a drastic change on each and every front. So I started there. It was very challenging for me. The whole biology was changed. It was not immunology lab. I expected that I would be given an immunology project, but there was some issues with the grant thing, and my grant, which was supposed to be on immunology, was delayed due to some unavoidable circumstances. And I was told that it will not be more than, I have to wait for a year till that grant will come up, and cannot start that project. And I was allotted a different project that was purely cell biology and endocrinology one. So I was not very happy with that postdoc position. So I talked to my guide. I was basically interested in doing immunology and osteomynology. Basically, your lab was a bone biology lab. I had an immunology experience, and we were supposed to do something immunology. He told me very frankly, Rupesh, if you want, really you're not happy in the lab, you can join any other lab, and if I can help you out with that. I said, no, you just give me some good recommendations. So he said, okay, not an issue. You are having a good credentials. I will give you some good recommendation. Even I can help you out. But I said, no, I will find a new postdoc on my own. and you just kindly help me with the recommendation thing. He said, okay, that was absolutely fine, because it was on his ground that I was not able to do the stuff which I was promised for. Then I, searching for that, I went to Roswell. That was a purely immunology lab. So I did a lot of cancer immunology, CD8 T cell memory at Roswell Park Cancer Institute. And that is also one of the best cancer institutes in the US. So I was around almost for 1.5 years. And in the meanwhile, the thing which I applied in Sagar, the advertisement which I have applied for in 2010, I think so in August. And they, in 2012, after almost 2 years, they called me up. Okay, you have been screened for the preliminary screening. के लिए आपको screen किया गया है, and you can just you have to visit Sagar. So it was a very kind of dilemma, because I just changed my lab and I was thinking what to do. And then somebody told me that you can ask for Skype. Then I asked them, it's not possible for me to visit physically. Kindly give me an option for a Skype or a video call. So they agreed for that, and I was screened for that. And again, after that, I haven't heard from them for almost 6 or 7 months. And I thought maybe everything must have been done, and I was not selected. And then I again continued to do this postdoc. Then after again 6 or 8 months, they called me up in, I think, 2013 January. Okay, you have been selected and you have to now come physically for the final interview in Delhi. So this time also I was not able to go there, because a lot of experiments were going on, which I cannot just leave on such a short notice. So I again requested them to kindly give me the opportunity through Skype. They again agreed for that. And I gave my interview again through Skype, and again things were silent from their end after that. And almost after 6 months, there was a final call letter was coming for me, that okay, selection letter was coming on it was at my home, that I have been selected. I was totally in a shock. So I'm telling you all these things because this is what happens for a normal postdoc. So if I was wishing to be in US for at least 3 to 4 years, so that I can finish off my projects there and get some good quality publications, and then approach to my home country for searching a faculty position. But this is not the thing which we always think of. It is not always the same. So it was only, I think, 22 months I was in US and got a faculty position. I was totally shocked and totally perplexed what to do. I was thinking I was thinking not to go. But when I called up my bosses in India and my colleagues in India, almost 99% of them, they said you should come. And my PhD boss, he said to me, you should come running and join this, because this is a central university job and nobody is getting jobs nowadays. If you are getting, you will regret it if you are going to leave that. So just basing my faith on these, my mentors, I just came up from USA. I joined Sagar in June 2013. And believe me, that day when I joined Sagar, I really felt very bad, because I thought, okay, this is not the place where I have to be. But thinking of the long run, in the long vision, so that's going to be very much useful. That decision of mine to come back in India to Sagar was going to be very fruitful if I was able to see 10 years from that, or 5 or 6 years from that point in the future. So just I consoled myself to, okay, this is the place. Now I'm there, and I have to do whatever I have to do. I have to do here only. I have to prove myself and then move ahead from there, whatever. So then I continued from there. Then I was at Sagar for almost 4.5 years. A lot of challenges were there at Sagar itself. It's a very small town. Lot of no good facilities for medical were there. Not good schools were there for my kids. So a lot of personal and professional friends were also there. A lot of challenges were there, and challenges are everywhere. You cannot just be away from them. We have to basically fight them head on and overcome them. This is what we did. This is what we means. Basically, we were more than 150 faculty members there. We all were facing similar issues. So the best thing which came to my mind was that if I have to leave Sagar, if I have to go to a good place or a good university, or this Sagar was a very good place, very serene place with least pollution was there, no traffic jams were there. Raising a family, it was one of the best places to be. I was very happy in Sagar. But the thing at the professional front, I was feeling that whatever my science was, that was not getting the due credit there. So I just thought I should go a place where I could just do all these things which I have already planned in my head. So I started. The only thing to come out of such a situation is to do hard work. And hard work in the sense that you should have good quality publications, good grants, so that you can, if you are going to apply for some places, they can select you on these grounds. Because whenever you go for some faculty interviews, normally what happens is that they see your CV and they will ask you if you're already having a central university job, why are you coming here? Because one of my interviews went like this only, and they asked me that you should be there, and they didn't selected me because only ground was that you're already having a faculty position, so it don't come for a new faculty position. So this is the thing which happens normally. So I thought my journey in India is stopped, so I started applying for abroads, and I got a faculty position at the University of Arizona in Department of Immunobiology as an assistant professor there. And they offered, the dean was very happy with the field which I was working on. So meanwhile, I've already published more than 16, 15 papers. I was corresponding author from Sagar itself. I got a very good PhD student. He was very hardworking, and we both were always on 24/7 on fields doing quality research on whatever the resources were there. And there were very good resources at Sagar itself. The infrastructure in case of the instruments, we had almost everything. All of the instruments were there at Sagar, and I fully utilized each and every instrument to get quality data and then publications. So we published a lot. I also got a grant of 65 lakhs from DST Serb during this period. And all this helped me to grab a position at Arizona. And I was about to move to Arizona. I just were planning to go to Arizona. We had the visas. My family were also having, we all got the visas. We sold each and everything of a house. We're just ready to launch ourselves to getting the flying tickets. I was going to just buy some tickets. I was supposed to join in December. And in midway in the holy, Deepavali was there in 2017. And the other day of the Deepavali, I got a selection letter from AIMS. So this is how I landed in AIMS, because AIMS also, it took almost 1.5 years to recruit me, because I applied for AIMS. I even forgot that I have already applied here also. The same story happened, similar with Sagar. So institutes, if you're applying for a government institutes, kindly take at least 1.5 or 2 years to get yourself settled. If you're thinking you are going to join after 5 years of your postdoc, start applying from the 3rd year itself. Then only you can consider yourself that you can get some positions. It's not like that you are going to apply today and you will get it within 6 months. It's not like that. And within this Corona time, it's not going to happen at all. So this is how I landed. When I got my selection for AIMS, I was so happy. And also, again, I was very purpose what to do, because I've already had a good position in Arizona itself. But I thought to myself, AIMS, I cannot say no to AIMS. It's one of the best institutes in the country, the frontier among the medical sciences. My research is actually all linked to such a medical institute, and I thought I can do justice to my research also there. So I came to AIMS with a lot of expectations, a lot of things, and I was very happy to join AIMS. And I can say that that decision of mine was one of the best decisions I have took, not to go to Arizona and join at AIMS. So this is the journey which I earlier showed to use, consider to be very straight is not straight, and I hope so. This is for more than 99% of the cases, it's not going to be straight. It's going to be this much snaky, or lot of curves, lot of challenges are going to be there. So the only thing which I can draw, the only conclusion is that when young people's will to transform reality merges with an indomitable optimism, the possibilities are limitless. And this is what basically we should also look for. We should always strive for doing our best in whatever situation we are. And one more message I can just draw from here, from my own life, is that we should always love our job, but don't love your company, because you may not know when your company stops loving you. Maybe your company is still loving you, but the thing is, the simile here is that if you love your company also, or your institute also, then you will not be able to leave that. You will be quite emotional. So it could be a roadblock for your career, for your professional development. So do your job wherever you are. Do your job with more than 100%. Devote yourself for that. But when the opportunity is right, you should also move away. So doing a job is one thing, loving your institute is another thing. I still love all of the places I have worked for. I still love Sagar, the institute. That was a great institute. But for my own professional development, I have to move. I have to move out from there. And this was nothing wrong with the place itself. It was my own journey, my own will, my own targets were there that was different from that place, and I have to move out from there. So meanwhile, I also got a lot of awards also during these struggles. When I struggled, I really struggled very hard without expecting that I was going to get all these things. So I got 6 medals. So I was an MSc in cell biology basically, and that there were 4 specializations in MSc second year in my department. There was entomology, fishery, endocrinology, and cell biology. So a person from cell biology had never ever won a gold medal in the last 50 years of the university itself. It was 1956 when the university started, and the department was also active from that day itself. And in 2004, this is from 2004, almost 48 or 50 years, I was the first person to get a gold medal from MSc in cell biology. And the thing was that in the second year, my mother was not well. I was in the hospitals most of the time giving my exams. The next morning, I was giving my exams and studying in the hospital itself. I was not expecting such a grand thing coming for me, but it is the hard work which I have basically put in my first year. So I have never studied for getting marks. I was always interested. I have a lot fond of a lot of books. I'm a voracious reader. I used to read each and every book, whatever things come up on my way. I was a very voracious reader. I used to day and night. I used to just only in the books and books and books. So you can say kitabi kida, but I was not only thing. I was also active in a lot of other social activities, also not only studying. So I won these 6 medals. So actually, I topped all of the department, all of the city, all of the university, all around the whatever affiliation. More than 500 affiliated colleges were there. I basically won all of them. I was not expecting that too. So this is what I got as a secondary thing of my hard work. So I also qualified CSIR GR twice, and NET once, and GATE twice during this journey. I was also awarded the GP Talwar Young Scientist Award in 2011 for my PhD work by the Indian Immunology Society. Now, how I started my work at here in basically in osteomicrobiology. So this is the step. So this is you can see here that this 2 papers, the Lactobacillus acidophilus and how the Bacillus clausii, I use these 2 probiotics for research on bone biology, how they are helping in combating your postmenopausal osteoporosis. So I will tell a small story about this also, how basically I have been able to basically start research on these probiotics. So this was basically again a very small story. Is that once what happened that I went to a hospital for my kid who was having diarrhea. His stomach was upset, and the doctors prescribed certain probiotics, thinking that maybe that can boost his immunity. And that was the idea which came to my mind also. Maybe if the immune system is being activated by these probiotics, then they should also have something to do with the bone biology also. This is how the genesis of these 2 works. And these 2 works have basically now is been cited as the top downloaded and top cited authors on the Bone Reports itself. The first one, this one, and this my interview is also there. So I was not aware that such a quality and innovative work I can do from Sagar, and later all the fraternity, the research fraternity is basically acknowledging this, and this is now became top downloaded and top cited papers, the journal itself. Thereafter, for this works on probiotics and postmenopausal osteoporosis, I won a GP Talwar Young Scientist Award again in 2019, the last year itself at GNU. And then there is again one small story how I also started. Innovation is at the heart basically of the research. So innovation is very important. Unless and until you innovate, doing research is basically a secondary thing. But if you innovate, that's the primary thing. Innovation is very much required. So the innovation here is that I published a paper in environmental pollution. It's having impact factor of around 7. I also published the same in 2018 itself. And we call it osteotoxicology, when we have shown here that how the MCLR, the toxin secreted by the cyanobacteria, is impairing bone health, or it is increasing bone loss. So this paper, the whole paper basically was a side project. It was a very much side project because one of my groups were there working on MCLR. A lot of people were working on MCLR in Sagar in my department. And they were doing all of these stuffs on mice itself. And they were discarding the mice after taking certain organs. I called them up. I saw this, they are discarding the animals, and I could use them because they have already been discarded and they are of no use. So what I did was that I just asked them, kindly give me these mice, because you people are taking certain organs and all the lymphoid organs, the bones are intact. So I can do something. Maybe I should check what is the effect of this MCLR is there on the bone health. And the results were very, very interesting and significant. And this is how we publish this paper out of innovation, out of nothing, out of a secondary project which are already going on somewhere. So innovation should be the heart of the research. Then again, all these my last 7 years, I have been proving again and again that how immune system is a very important component of your managing your bone health. And earlier people used to think that osteoporosis is something which is related to endocrinology. It's kind of an imbalance of the hormones, particularly the estrogens. And maybe the calcium deficiency is leading to osteoporosis, but it is not the only case. Immune system is one of the most important things which is having a very active role to play in immunoporosis. And we published about 6 to 7 papers back to back in various journals, reputed journals. And now we have came up with this review article on immunoporosis, which we have coined this as Immunology of Osteoporosis, specifically that immunology has a very important role in osteoporosis. And you can see here within 2 years, basically it has more than 10,400 downloads, more than 30 citations, and your downloads are also more than 3,000 in there. You see, I have the data in here. It is also in the top 25% of the research outputs, alphanumeric score of 8 and 2,000 downloads, more than 30 citations for such a niche, small niche. Not many workers are working in the field of osteomyology. Hardly 2 to 5 people are working in India, and all across the world, I can say not more than 50 or 100 people. And from those 100 people, if you're getting these 30 citations within a span of just 2 years, is really, really very, very interesting. You can say that I'm getting a citations of 30 even from such a small field. So all of this has basically what they have done is that they have the Immunity Journal was celebrating its 25th anniversary issue. They were launched it in April 2019, and they were looking at certain what people or the researchers have done anything really interesting and innovative in their own field. They have came across our papers, and they called up us, and I submitted my work to them for the assessment, and they actually covered us, and they were very much happy with this, and they covered us on the front page of Immunity Journal 2019 April 16th issue. All of my lab is basically, so there were various labs were there, so the figure is very small on the cover page, but on the website it is, you can go and see there. So I have basically been more than approximately 2 crore, all my PIs and co-PIs, all the research funding, approximately 2 crore funding, and already been 70, 80 lakhs have already done that projects, and the next are already going on in my lab. So these are the publications which I got from there, some certain very good quality publications, Journal of Immunology, this interpolation which I was talking about, JBMR, Osteomynology, and most of these, the lower ends are the papers which are basically published after coming to Sagar and AIIMS. So we have done a lot of things in case of bone biology. And these are the places where I have delivered talks at various international places from NIH, Columbia, Michigan, Yale, Connecticut, Trudeau, and various research institutes in India, and apart from it, various universities, both central, private, and state universities. So these are my collaborations right now. We have collaborations from Singapore, the UK and US in Singapore, the Singapore Immunology Network, from CDRI, we have very active collaborations from other research institutes, IIT Delhi, THSTI, IIT Kharagpur, and some central universities also. So these are the collaborations. And one more important thing which I would like to tell everybody is that the students are the wheels of science, and they should be nurtured at every cost. They should be nurtured, they should be helped through, they should be mentored through in a way that they can be really a good scientist and a good human beings in their own lives. So he was, Mr. Hamid was he's now Dr. Hamid. He was my first PhD student from Sagar. And he's now a postdoc at Emory University, USA. And he is one of the best labs in this field. And he recently published a JCI paper also from there after going within a span of just 1 year. So he is doing great from there. Also, my PhD students, Lena, is also won various oral presentations and best poster awards in this after joining within 1 year itself, he has already won these things. All my students are really doing very great. Zafar, Lena, Asha, Hamid, all of them. I'm really thankful to all of them that my science is basically being carried by them only. They are the workforce behind the science which we all researchers are doing. So this is the mentoring which I have already done. We have one postdoc in my lab. I have 5 PhD students. Apart of one have already completed that. 2 MSCs have already done that. 4 biotech students at my AIIMS, 4 UG trainees, and 5 YSL trainees are already undergoing the virtual internship right now. And these are the various editorial boards and memberships of the society which I'm already enrolled into. Some of them have invited me, and some others have already myself enrolled into. Various administrative role I have been part of this various. So I've been part of the institute's member COVID-19 committee, faculty in charge for the flow cytometry central facility. I'm a course coordinator. A lot of various international and national conferences I've already organized. And very important thing which I already talked about, it's always we should work very hard and win at a workplace. That is very much important. You should always love your job, whether or not you love your institute or not, or your workplace or not, but you should always work hard and win the trust of the people there at your workplace. And this is one a very small example of that I have been involved in establishing the CCRF facility, the Central Core Research Facility as AIMS, for the flow facility, and they have appreciated my work here. Certificate of appreciation, they have given it to me. And this was recently inaugurated in January 24th, before the lockdown came in. And the Professor Venkat Raman, the Nobel laureate, he inaugurated this on January 24th itself. So this is what happened. The iceberg illusion is there. People used to see only this tip success. This is what the people see. Maybe people can see me and they can say that I came from Saga to AIMS, and maybe I could have done something kind of Jack kind of thing or some other kind of thing, but they don't really see what is there beyond that. The tip of either 1/8, I think the size is there, what you can only see the one portion, and the 7 portion is there below the sea, and all of you know that. So hard work, and this is the iceberg illusion, which people, they don't actually want to see. They know that, but they don't actually want to see that. A lot of hard work is there, persistence is there, late nights is there, but we don't work late nights. Rejections are there of your papers, criticism is there, sacrifice is there for personal space, doubts are there, whereas people can come up with a lot of doubt, disappointment, dedication, risk, and the list is really endless. But at the end of the day, when we see this tip, we are very happy. So we should be always ready for the criticism and a lot of challenges which people don't credit for. But yes, we know that if we are able to tackle this, we are going to be winners in the end. So for me, sky is not the limit. For most of the people, it is the limit. For in either of the cases, if you think it is a limit, or if you don't think if it is a limit, if you think so it is a limit, go and watch there. Kindly go there, keep a ladder, walk there, and see whether it is a limit or not. I know, because I crossed that. I have seen that it's not a limit. It's just to say that because you have to come there. So that's why, whether it is a limit or not, just kindly go, walk there, go to that limit and see yourself whether it is a limit or there is something else also is there beyond there. So never ever give up. This is my last thing. So while it is very important to win, it is also even more important to be remain undefeated no matter what happens. So if you're winning 1 times, they could be that more than 20 times you have been defeated for that particular cause. So winning is not the important thing. It is the persistently not being defeated by the challenges that is more important. So my gratitude, this is the last slide. So my gratitude towards all of my mentors who have shaped my life. Mr. Ranjit Vishkarma, he was one of my initial teachers during my childhood. He used to teach me, and he's the person who has basically sparked the zeal, the zest for biology. And he is the one who I will credit for whatever biology, the starting years, the 6th and 7th, very important. And he was a teacher who was basically tuitioning me, mentoring me during those times. And I credit all my success to him, basically for all my biology. What I know is there because of his efforts. The next comes my Professor CPM Tripathi. He was a professor. Then he was the person who called me up to say, okay, you should also go to NCSS. So he is also very, very supportive, very generous, very humble. And also one of my guides, Anupam Mukherjee, with I've been involved with her a lot of MSc dissertation work. And she is one of my immovable support through my days of MScs. And my PhD guides, Professor G.C. Mishra, he's a Padma Shri. He is published the first science paper from India. He's also having a Ranbaxy Science Award. So he's one of the big shots in immunology field. Dr. Vani Mohan Vani, he's the best bone biologist in India. And he's also a very nice person. And apart from there, 2 of my postdoc guides, Dr. Professor Gerard Carsanti, he's a chair at Columbia University at Genetics and Development Department, one of the forerunners in the race of Nobel laureate each and every year. The lab of which I was part was publishing almost 3 to 7 cell papers each and every year. So they were having 4 to 5 cells and cell metabolism, a lot of things. So they were doing hardcore of molecular biology and cell biology related to bone itself, how bone is affecting your fertility. So he's the pioneer in that. Now, and the last one is Professor Srikant at Rosal Park. So he was the person from whom I learned a lot of immunology and CD8 T cell memory. So all of these, my mentors, I'm very much thankful and a lot of gratitudes and basically n number of gratitudes I cannot just say in words. All of them have shaped my life, being a researcher, being an academician, being a person. They all have shaped my life. And lastly, I thanks to all of my students once again, all of my collaborators, my host institutes, my funding agencies, and the mice, because lot of n number of mice, they have sacrificed their life for whatever we have came up and published in various journals. So thank you for listening patiently to me. Thank you. Over to you, Felix.
Thank you, Dr. Rupesh.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think Yesha is not around. I request Dr.
Yes.
Yeah, over to you, Yesha. You are not visible.
Okay, just a second. Okay, I guess now I'm visible.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. From Gorakhpur University to AIMS, your journey has inspired us, motivated us, and as well as aspired many of us. And the way you differentiated between the plan and reality is great. Also, your mantra that everything happens in life is step by step. So here, considering this, I would like to tell some few words regarding the same. Very well said by Prakash Padukone, Indian badminton champion. There is no substitute for perseverance, hard work, determination, and passion for what you choose to do. And for that, sir, you have motivated us. Along with this, some of the quotes like be a human first, then be a pillars of strength has strengthened our mind power towards what we want to achieve in future. As well as thank you for introducing us to some of the terms on which you have been working since years, like from for 15 to 20 years, for example, osteoimmunology. And also, thank you for letting us know about some of the important things related to bones, like how they affect like dietary supplements as well as environment pollutants, how they affect bone. I guess this much terms are very important for today's generation where obesity is a major problem. Thank you, sir. So, sir, are you ready for some of the questions from our audience?
Yesha, just wait.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Once again, thank you, Dr. Rupesh, for such an interesting talk. And
Thanks to all of you.
yeah, what an amazing journey, mainly the serpentine journey you had. After hearing your journey, I can say that you are a visionary, hardworking, and passionate person. You rightly pointed out that students are the wheels of science and they should be nurtured appropriately. I think YSL is a good platform to nurture the young mind of our countries. And for this, I would like to congratulate Dr. Felix for this initiation. So over to you, Dr. Felix.
Yeah. Sorry. Not Rupesh. It was an accident, and now because you actually out to is absolutely
not able to
inspiring. It's
hear
one
you.
of the best talk. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying that it's one of the best talk in the YSL series, easily one of the best talk, and I'm actually impressed with your journey, and you're very down to earth. The things that you shared, your life journey is absolutely inspiring, and I was thoroughly enjoying your journey from Gorakhpur, as Yasha was telling, and all the way to Columbia. Columbia is one of the most prestigious university, Ivy League university, and then back to Sagar University. and then aims. It's absolutely fabulous of the life journey that you went through. And more than that, I'm really impressed with your downright attitude. That you're really down to earth person. And many more victories to you, Dr. Rupesh. I'm really happy that you are here with us today in YSL. And more than that, I heard that you're also doing intern for many of the YSL, VISL interns. So I'm really happy about it to be part of this big family. Thanks a lot for coming and spending your time. And
Thanks
over
to
to
all of you
Yashna,
for
without
providing this opportunity.
wasting much time. I think we have a lot of questions. Yes.
Okay, so can we start with questions?
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
go ahead, please.
Okay, so the first question is from Jyoti Balan. He wants to know about immunology of diabetes.
Oh, immunology of diabetes. So
Yes.
this is basically not directly related to my field, but yeah, it is an independent field. Basically, what happens in diabetes is that so there are two kinds of diabetes: diabetes type 1 and diabetes type 2. So one of these is having an immunology component. Is that your own body T cells, basically the T helper cells, they basically attack the insulin secreting cells. So this is an autoimmune disease, and we still don't know what is the exact cause of that. So the cells basically are being dead, and your body stops secreting these insulin, and that's leading to development of diabetes or your intolerance towards your glucose, whatever amount your consumption is there. So hope so. I just gave a very limited answer to this question.
So, the next one is from Sana. What is your view on lemma antibodies and nanobodies used against SARS-CoV-19?
Okay, so for the SARS, basically a lot of antibodies are there. So what people are trying right now is that for the spike protein itself, okay, the spike proteins are at the center of the research all around the world right now. We have the SARS virus is also having other proteins. The spike protein is one of them, and M proteins are also there. So most of the antibodies or the research interested on these spikes. So if we can generate a robust antibody immune responses against these spike proteins, maybe we can able to neutralize them, and we can win that. But still, we are not seeing that, because still recently 2 or 3 days back, CDC has also said that if you are being infected by COVID-19, the antibody responses which are there in the body are active for almost 3 to 4 months. Until 3 to 4 months, you're not going to be infected by that particular strain. If there is some other mutated strain, then you can be still infected. So that's one of the thing. And the reason why this is happening, only a very limited amount of immune response is there. The answer lies in the B cell memory cells, B cell plasma cells, which are residing in the bone marrows. So in most of the viruses cases, that the memory cells in the bone marrow are not that much living for a very long time, and they also take more than 10 to 15 days to develop a very robust immune response. So this is why, and in between that 10 to 15 days, the person can be dead. So that's why the immune responses are not that much robust in case of coronaviruses. So this is what is known, and a lot of people are working. Even we are also trying to dissect some of the reasons why this is happening.
Thank you for such a brief answer. So now we have another question from Ravi Kumar. He wants to ask you to distinguish osteoporosis from osteosarcoma, and to what extent this osteosarcoma can be treated or prevented through chemotherapy and radiation therapy.
So osteosarcoma is basically a cancer of the bone, and osteoporosis is basically the normal routine. It's a basically part of the homeostatic system, in which case, and it happens after post-menopause, comes in case of women after 45, 50 years, when the amount of estrogen in the body is decreasing with aging. So the menopause is basically a trigger for the immune systems to become activated, because what normally estrogen does is that the presence of estrogen basically inhibits the inflammatory T cells, or it keeps a check on the inflammatory T cells. So when that estrogen level is basically going down with aging in case of women's, and also in case of men's also with aging, the thing is there estrogen, because estrogen is also present in the case of males also. So that, but 1 in 3 women and 1 in 5 men are going to experience osteoporosis related fractures in their lifetime. So this is the strategy, and if there is one statistics, more statistics is there, that if you take all of the other deaths, other diseases apart from just only comparing with osteoporosis, there are more days spent in the hospital with fractures alone than with combined your cancer, your cardial things, and a lot of other things. So fractures and osteoporosis is basically a huge economic burden on the society. And since we think that it is going to happen later in the life, so we don't give very much importance to this. So that's why osteoporosis needs to be tackled very much. And in developed countries, basically the government has already recognized this. They are working in that end, and we still are lagging behind. And osteosarcoma is basically totally different thing. Is the cancer of bone, where what happens is that due to the inflammatory environment in the cancer, because cancer is an inflammatory disease, inflammation is there. The T cells are activated, the CD8 T cells are activated. They're working. They increase the inflammatory, the rankle signaling, the TNF alpha, IL-1, IL-6. They all are basically inducing enhanced osteoclastogenesis, the osteoclast, the cells, if you remember, which are responsible for 80. So, and the metastasis is one other important thing, that most of the cancers, the cancer cells, they metastasize to the bones. Most of the cancer. And in osteosarcoma, the target organ is bone itself, and bone is a very huge organ. A lot of blood is there, a lot of vascularization is there, and it's a very hot spot for the cancer cells, because cancer cells are having Warburg effect, and they need a lot of nutrients for growing. And if something, some cells or metastasize to the cancer, to the bone itself, they get all these nutrients there, and they are very much active, and they proliferate, and they take on the host. So there is a lot of difference between both these things. Osteoporosis is totally different from osteosarcoma, but yes, immune system is involved, both of them.
Dr. Rupesh, I have a question.
Yeah.
As you are working in the field of immunology, and most of the participants are younger students, okay, so I request you to tell about the current immunology topics, from Indian point of view, where the researcher can work, and what are the best institutes to do research in India, immunological institutes.
Okay, so this is a very interesting question, and so basically there are various institutes in India which are doing, a lot of people are doing immunology, quality immunology research. But the forefront of them is National Institute of Immunology and the National Center for Cell Science, from where I had been. So a lot of people are there also. Both institutes are at the heart of doing a lot of ICGP was also one of them initially, and also apart from the institutes, I would say it is also PI specific. The faculty, the scientists which are working, they can be anywhere. They can be anywhere, any state university, any central university, any research institutes, apart from just tagging it to a particular institute. So if you see that, a lot of people in NII also are not doing immunology nowadays, but still it is National Institute of Immunology. So just tagging immunology with a particular institute or correlating is not that much good, according to me. It should be dependent upon just kindly Google it, or PubMed pe aap dekho jaake ki what topics you are interested in doing immunology. So immunology can be different. For example, I am doing osteoimmunology. Somebody else will be doing cancer immunology. Somebody else will be doing HIV immunology. So, and diabetes immunology can also be in other parts. So immunology is a subject which is very much at the heart of each and every disease. And apart, what my boss, Dr. J.C. Mishra, used to say, that everything is immune mediated except your traumas or physical accidents. Even there also you can find immunology. So all of your bodily mechanisms, the homeostatic mechanisms which we are dealing with, their immune system is a very active part it is playing. And in all the diseases, undoubtedly, it is one of the most important things. I will just recommend to all the students who are interested in doing quality research in immunology, kindly search according to your own interest, whether you want to do a cancer immunology, whether an osteoimmunology, and you can find your labs of your interest. Kindly go to the profile of the PIs, their funding status, the papers what they have published, and the home pages of these, what they are doing. Just emailing them, talking to them via phone or Skype or Google Meet or Zoom, and then deciding what is the best lab for you, apart from just only going on the name of the institute.
Yeah, thank you. And another question is, as you are working in AIMS, a medical institute. So you know that India has a huge population, and the health condition is not good, and facilities are also not good in the hospitals. So as from this medical background, what are your comments or your views?
So basically, I'm not from a medical background. First of all, I'm a PhD. Yeah, but I'm at an institute that is very much at the heart, with the best medical institute in India. It's the best medical university in India. And I would tell you that the first day when I walked here for joining the institute for giving an interview, very really impressed with the amount of hard labor the doctors, the researchers, the staffs are putting in for uplifting the health status of all the individuals of this country. It's a very really a great institute, and for studying here also, it's a very prestigious thing to getting admissions here for MBBS or MD or even MSc and programs also, plus all the other, there are various courses here. Plus being a faculty here is really is a very proud moment for me. When the moment I joined there, my parents feel they're very proud. And the best part for me, apart from being personally, professionally also, I have access to a lot of samples of osteoporosis now. Okay, so initially when I was thinking, I have done my research on mice. Now I have to switch to humans, because unless and until do you quality research on patients or human subjects, your research is not given that 100% credit. So now I have that access to all the patients, to all the osteosarcoma patients also, or other whatever samples I need, I can have easy access to them within the institute. And this is going to definitely enhance my own research capabilities, along with the research inputs of the as a whole of the aims and the country itself.
Thank you. Over to you, Yasha.
Okay, yes. So we will be taking another questions from the audience. What are the recommended drugs from marine origin for osteosarcoma, preferably bioactive compounds from spongy associated microbiome? From Ravi Kumar.
Frankly speaking, I have no idea about this. Okay, because
Okay.
this is a cancer, totally cancer field. But yes, certain drugs can be used, which are very much common. Basically, certain antibody therapies, certain chemotherapies, which are already used. But I don't really know the exact name of them. But yes, immunology is having immunotherapy is one of the most important things which you can do. For example, CAR T cells are there. Okay. So CAR T cells are the latest thing there. So they are chimeric antigen T cell receptors are there for each and every T cells. We are having T cell receptors. They are engineered for that particular antigen of the cancer. So they can recognize that cancer antigen. For example, if an osteosarcoma cell is there, that is expressing that the cancer cell is there. If we can engineer, we can isolate that antigen, which can engineer that, and we can engineer that T cell receptor in the form of T cell apart, along with certain co-stimulatory molecules. So those T cells, basically, which we call them CAR T cells, are basically self-activating. They don't need the help of other cells to activate them. Because what happens in cancer cells is that cancer cells normally suppress the immune responses. So, for example, if a normal T cell, the CD8 T cells is going to kill a cancer cell, what happens is that the cancer T cells, the cancer cells, they express certain molecules, inhibitory molecules, for example, PD-1 and all these, which inhibit the separation of these pieces, so they cannot work properly. And this is for what the James coalition in 2018, they got the Nobel Prize for Honjo and for developing this immunotherapy against this cancer cell. The same thing can also be done with the help of CAR T cells also. These are the best things which can be done. And this is also coming up in India also. One of my friends, Dr. Rahul Pawar in IIT Bombay, he's a leading researcher in the field of CAR T cells in India. If you have certain other queries regarding that, you can just email him out.
Okay.
Dr.
Thank you,
Felix.
sir. Yes. Another question filled with concern. Can a PhD in immunology work as a stem cell researcher? From Jyoti Balan.
Definitely, it can be done. You can change your field at whatever time you want. But the only problem will be that, just like in stem cells, the totipotency is being lost with each step. You become more and more specialized. So it's very hard to come back. But if you're really interested, you can do that even after. Because I myself in my PhD lab was doing a lot of stuff related to stem cell biology, mesenchymal stem cells, growing gingiva, and doing a lot of one of my colleagues there was doing that. I was also part of that, very closely part of that project. So even after I'm being immunologist there, I already have expertise on stem cell biology, also, cell biology also. So if you really feel that, and if you really have that persistence and you're ready for challenges, because there will be a lot of challenges, we're going to change the field. But if you have that will, you can do that. No one can stop you. Also, I have done my PhD in autoimmunity in rheumatoid arthritis, and the postdoc in cancer biology in cancer CD8 T cells memory. And after coming to India, I started a new field, totally new field, immunoprocess. This is basically totally new disease only. So I initially had a lot of challenges, but I think I was able to overcome that. So I think you can also do that. So it's not a big deal. And most of the people, they don't find their perfect lab during the postdocs. So maybe some people are there who basically have to manage that, and they are successful.
Dr. Felix, I request you to ask a couple of questions.
Okay, so yeah, it is really interesting discussion going on, and Rupesh, we have so many participants who are actually early career scientists, especially young faculties. So because you are from medical field, immunology and medical immunology, and that kind of field, could you please brief some grant opportunities for the medical discipline, especially for example, the early career and intermediate and senior fellowship from the Wellcome Trust. Not many people are actually aware of it, though people are working on immunology and related fields in India, and any other opportunity. So maybe you can just give a brief idea on all these aspects.
So basically, the Wellcome Trust, which you are talking about, is now called as India Alliance. The DBT
Yes.
India Alliance, it is called up. So we have basically three tiers are there: early career, the mid career, and the senior categories there. So basically, all the researchers who are young faculties can apply in either the first or the second one, or the early or the intermediate. I have also applied for the intermediate. They have selected me up, and the second round is already going on. So this is one of the most prestigious fellowships in the country. If you get that, huge amount of funding is there. For early career, it's almost around 2 point some crores are there, and for the mid career, it is almost around 3.5 crores are there. And it's robust. It's very lot amount of writing needs to be done, lot amount of data. You must be having some kind of preliminary data. So what I feel, being a part of this, being in the process of that, what I really felt is that you have to firstly put a small write-up for your project, what you're planning for, and they will screen that write-up, and then they will call you to submit your full proposal. And that full proposal is really very exhaustive. So you have to do each and everything. I have never done such kind of thing in any of my earlier grants, whatever the amount of, so it was earlier, all the rest, for example, DBT, DST, you can just think they are 10% of what you have to write for your DBT India Alliance. So they will ask you all the, how you are thinking that if you fail that, what are your, whatever backup plans are there, how you are going to manage your lab. And also one of the most important thing, they will ask you that you have to give your more than 80% of the time to this fellowship only. If you're having other fellowships, you cannot do that. So you have to justify that they are giving you that fellowship. So you don't need to have, if you're already having 5 grants, then your chances of getting this grant will be very much less. Plus, apart from this, you also have the DBT e-promise portal is also there. Excuse me. So you can apply for your grants there also. And they normally fund, a lot of funding is there from DBT. DST is having a special category called as high risk, high reward. That is a very important platform. If you really think you are having a very innovative project or proposal is there with some preliminary data or not, they can easily support you. ICMR is also there, but the ICMR normally supports the medical researchers in the medical colleges and medical universities, but they can also fund you also if you're having certain medically inclined projects are there that can still be funded. UGC is also one of the good funding bodies, but the thing is that only few amount of the funding is approximately 20-25 lakhs what you can get, but still that is very sufficient, because the first grant which I got was UGC startup grant in 2013 itself when I joined that Central University in Sagar, and that amount was just 6 lakh that time. Now has increased to 10 lakhs. So if you have a good project without any preliminary data, you can get your UGC. So most of the faculties, if you're joining in any college or any university, you should first write a UGC startup grant so that you can get your 10 lakhs easily. And then 10 lakhs is more than enough for start your basic preliminary things if you're having your instruments and all those things. Because in Sagar, we were having all kind of instruments. We just need to have funding for consumables and setting up small things. And you will not believe all the data, all the papers which I have published till 2018, they have came up from this 6 lakhs only. So the environmental pollution, the scientific reports, frontiers in immunology, nutrition, bone reports, all the data had come up from the reagents of those 6 lakhs only. So it's a huge, although it appears to be very less, but if you are using it judicially, it can create wonders. It had done for me, and so it can do for you also.
Yeah, fantastic answer. I'm really, glad to hear this kind of inspiring story. Friends, it's not really the money, how much money you have. Even people like having big projects like 3 crore, 4 crore, but simply squander the entire money and without actually leading to quality publications. But look at guys like him. Rupesh has done a fantastic job at a small central university. Of course, the Sagar is a non-central university. And with 6 lakh, he could able to get fantastic top tier paper. That's an amazing. And the Welcome Trust, yes, so that India Alliance is actually the CEO has come to our workshop, Shahid Jamil. He has given an inspiring talk. I remember his talk, yes. And now just to add on, Shahid Jamil is now with Ashoka University. He has recently accepted the position there, and wish him very best for that. And we have another grant as well, the BIRAC, biotechnology ignition grant. So in case you're interested in some application oriented work, so you can apply. The call is open right now, and I strongly suggest if you're a young faculty, please go and give a try. It's a great opportunity. And could you give some suggestion for the students as well, where to look for a good institute, or what kind of textbook will you offer? I mean, do you suggest or recommend for studying this immunology?
So for immunology, the best textbook which I like really is the Cell and Molecular Immunology by Abbas and Shiv Pillai.
Okay.
And the best book which I really like. And apart from QB is also there. QB, the language, sometimes the students find it, the language is not that easy. It's very hard for English is used. But in the case of Abbas, you can find that language is very simplistic. The figures are very good. So you can start with Cell and Molecular Immunology from Abbas, Lichman, and your Pillai. These 3 are the authors. And I've already met them also, and they are very good people also, and they are very much open to, if you have some queries also, they can answer you on the emails also. So this is the best book you can go for. This Abbas, then QB is also there, Royat is also there. So not suggesting many names, just only one name which I would recommend is that Abbas. Abul Abbas and Shiv Pillai and Lichman. 3 are there for cell and molecular immunology for immunology.
And Rupesh, I also just saw that you got some award as a science communicator. Could you share that story?
So science communicator, that basically was that Indian Science Congress thing. So from my chapter, in Sagar is a chapter of the Indian Science Congress, ISCA. So they submitted the same probiotic story there, and they were very much impressed with that, and they wanted me to present that in the Tirupati in 2018, I think, 2017. The ISCA, the Indian Science Congress, was there in Tirupati, in Andhra Pradesh, and I went there, and I gave a talk there, and I also presented my poster there, and then gave a talk there. So that's kind of thing. The Indian Science Congress is having this kind of opportunity, that Science Communicator Award is there. So this is also an award. You are paid for your through and fro, through your AC 2-tier tickets, and all those things are there. So this is an award, and this is really a prestigious thing. We're getting it from Indian Science Congress Association.
Great. Thank you. And over to Dr. Nitin.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Felix and Dr. Rupesh. Isha, you can ask the last question, and then we can conclude the session.
Okay, sure. So I would like to take questions from the audience. Sir, as you said about your journey and also that you are a voracious reader, here Neeru Dhamiji wants to ask you to share your experience during you pursuing your PhD.
So Neeru is one of my colleagues at NCCS. When we were doing, she's one of my batchmates, and we had a really good time there. And the thing is that I will tell one small thing about reading there. So normally, when the PhD is in India, is normally for 5 years. Okay, so if you are going to have the decent timeline is 5 years. You can also get in 3 years, 7 years, 8 years, depending upon the guide, the institute, the project. So normally it's considered 5 years is a quite decent time you can get your PhD. So when I was in my third year, so I was not getting any results. So there was no leads. I was just moving here and there, changing projects. Initially, I started on B cell biology of rheumatoid arthritis. I was getting no results. Then I changed it to stem cell biology. Then stem cell biology was also one of my colleagues were doing. So I learned that also, but I was not getting any leads in that also. Then I switched to osteoclast, making osteoblast, hardcore osteobiology in my lab, and I was very good. My hands were very good. My cultures were very good. My bosses and my colleagues used to appreciate that you have the cultures. The quality of the cultures are very good in my hand. So I used to do cultures for them also some of the times. But the thing was that I was not getting any results for 3 years. I was so much. You can say I was so much frustrated. You can say that I was so much frustrated also, and I was so much tensed also, okay, that I'm not getting results. And within 5 years, you have to do my PhD, then you should have results by up to 3 years. So all of my batchmates, most of the batchmates, they were having leads and they were working fine. So what I started was, the one thing which saved my life was this reading. How? So I changed my habit a bit. What I did was that I used to get up early in the morning at 3 o'clock. I used to take bath and be in my lab by 4 o'clock. Okay. And then from 4 o'clock till 8 o'clock, I used to read a lot of, because that time my mind was very much fresh. I was not having any other thing to do on my mind, and all of the institute was sleeping, and I was there only in the lab, very much peaceful environment. I used to switch on some music, and I was able to read at least 2 to 3 research papers. I used to read daily. So I made it a habit for at least 6 months. I followed this, and this has given me basically supported me. It has given me a lot of new ideas. The more I started reading, I got new ideas. I was thinking, okay, these people are doing this, then why I cannot do. Till 8 o'clock I was there. Then 8:30 I used to go to the mess, have my breakfast, and come by 9 o'clock, and then start my day by the really good stuffs. Only doing your research, experiment setup from 9 to 5. So I have done all of my PhD and postdoc from this 8 to 6 o'clock only. I had rarely been in the lab, only when the experiments demanded me for being there in the nights. I have been in the nights at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock also, but that has been occasionally. So this is just, again, one important thing is that a lot of people basically, they think that overnight you have to be in the lab, 24/7 you have to be in the lab. Unless and until your research project demands so, you don't need to do that. So if you're overnight in the lab, you really need to see your working habits, how much time you're taking off for teas and breaks you're taking within that 9 to 6 time. So that if you're taking 3 or 4 breaks, basically 2 or 3 hours of your are lost. And then you have to compensate that coming back to the lab in the night. So this is how reading had saved me. And this is one of my roommates, he was there at that time. He went for 6 months in US in Albert Einstein. And that time the day was started. They had already been started. Even the evening was there when I was starting by 3 o'clock. He used to call Neeru. What had happened to Rupesh? Why is early being in the lab at 3 o'clock? I can see him on Yahoo Messenger was very active that time. We were not on, Orkut was there. So he used to pin me on Yahoo Messenger, and he used to ask me, what are you doing this time in the lab? So he asked Neeru once, is Rupesh fine? Is he well? Why it is going at 3 o'clock? Why I can see him in the lab? So this is one of the incidents which I basically came across when Neeru asked this question.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah.
Dr. Felix, concluding remarks from your side?
Yeah, it was really inspiring journey, and Dr. Rupesh, thank you so much. I absolutely enjoyed from the very beginning till the end, and I'm really impressed with your caliber and your life journey. A lot of people are inspired. I'm really sure about it, and especially your attitude. You're really a real person. I can vouch on it. Hearing your story, it's absolutely fabulous, and it's my pleasure to have you here with us this afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining, and thanks a lot for that. Yeah, over to Dr. Nitin. Yes.
Yeah, thank you once again, Dr. Rupesh, for such an interesting and informative talk, and sparing time with us. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors, and thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you, Nitin. Thanks, Felix, and thanks, Yesha. And I think you people are doing a wonderful job and by creating this platform. And this is what is actually required for a country as ours, basically to promote the young leaders and train them, because we have huge potential. We can do wonders if we get the right time, if we get the right opportunity at the right time. We can do wonders. I think this program will be a milestone in that direction. And again, once again, I also wish you all the best for your this future journey of this YSL. And if you anytime need my support and on any front, I will be more than happy to contribute on whatever grounds I can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rupesh. And I also want to add a special thanks to Yesha for sparing the whole day with us. And whoever is interested to be a moderator, especially from the female fraternity, you're more than welcome. Please, you can book your slot in the next YSL series. Anybody, irrespective of your educational background, you're welcome for that. Thanks a lot, Yesha, and my best wishes for you.
For giving us such a wonderful opportunity to showcase our talent as well as gaining experience in the same field. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Nitin, you can introduce next week's speakers if you have finalized. Yes.
No, actually, we have several people in waiting, so we have not finalized the speaker for next week. So
Okay.
Once we will finalize, we will share across the different platform, and I'm sure that we'll get good people from institutes like CSIR and IIT. So, and from the different background, we are looking people from the different background. So all the students or participants, that they get benefited out of it.
Yeah, I just want to add that we are also even looking for the inspired, the school teachers. So if you have got like national award in teaching, you're more than welcome to approach us. Absolutely, we are open for across the disciplines. So this is not only for the scientists, but science leader also include the school. School teaching is extremely important topic that we would like to cover in some of the forthcoming series of the YSL series. So I wish you all the best and enjoy your week. And I will see you next Sunday. Till then, goodbye. Nitin, goodbye. See you again.
Bye. Thanks all of you, and bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.